What's up guys, it's your boy once again with another video. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a different kind of video. It's going to be a more educational one. I'm going to say my top 10 tips plus one, a bonus one, for to maximize, let's say, muscle growth. And it doesn't matter whatever fitness level you are in the gym, let's say, if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced. It's still gonna work. These are simple tips that anyone can use, but whatever your fitness level, you're still gonna see progress in the gym. And it can even go to other sports as well. It can even apply to other sports. So this is my second attempt for this video because I had some troubles with my camera. It needs a format. So for the next couple of videos, probably this one and the next one, I won't be able to do it with my camera. I know the quality is not good on my phone, but that's what we got now. I don't want to leave you without a video at all for, let's say, 2 weeks. So yeah, let's begin. Okay, so here we go. I didn't say before, but it's gonna be for training, nutrition, and recovery as well. So these three aspects, the most important ones to see some progress and gains. It's mostly gonna be about training mostly, but you're gonna see. So let's start by number one tip is to properly warm up before every single session. I would recommend to do like a 5-10 minute cardio routine, let's say on the treadmill very slowly, or in any other machine that you want, or even just walking to the gym could do the work. And also warming up before every single set on your lifts. Like in every single exercise, do like 2 to 3 sets before doing your actual working sets. And after like the first couple of exercises, you don't even need to do many more warm-up sets, maybe one. But especially in the beginning, you should do like 2 to 3 warm-up sets every exercise. So tip number 2, which has to do very much with the first one, the warm-up. That's why I said 2 to 3 warm-up sets, is to begin with your compounds first. I mean the difficult, the heavy exercises first, like the squat, the deadlift, the bench press, maybe the overhead press, stuff like that. That's not the only compounds, but these are known as the big 3. It's actually, but let's say big 4. So yes, begin with your compounds first. That's when you're fresh. That's when you have the strength and the energy, and your glycogen and ATP levels are skyrocket. So that's when you should put the most effort in your workout. So that's when you should be able to lift the most amount of weight. So yes, I would definitely recommend for you to start your compounds first. The next step can be applied for every single exercise, and it should be done in the compounds because many people don't do it, especially in the compounds and in like the most bro exercises like the barbell curls and stuff like that. It's TUT. TUT stands for time under tension. Your time under tension means the amount of time that your muscle is under pressure, under actual tension. So this should be like about 40 seconds should be the optimal amount of time under tension during a set. But I see everyone has seen like in gyms, people just banging weights up and down or squatting, benching too fast, like 1 second concentric and like half a second just dropping everything down on the eccentric. And this is not okay because first of all, you can get injured because your form is shit, and you will not be able to actually cause enough muscle damage for the muscle then to rebuild itself and get bigger after the gym in the recovery phase. So it doesn't really matter how many reps you do. Like you can do like maybe even 5 reps technically, but if it takes you 40 seconds to do these 5 reps and you do like, I don't know, like 5 seconds concentric and another 5 eccentric, it still can work technically. But if you do like 1 second up and half second down, you have to do like 20 plus reps. So it's not viable. So yeah, you need to get your TUT right. Okay, tip number 4 is the proper rest. This is so important for me especially, and for everyone that knows scientifically what it's like to train. Back in the day, in the golden era and stuff, all bodybuilders didn't really know exactly how they should train. It's not that it didn't work for them, but it could have been even better. Like I even hear today, like, oh, you gotta do 30-second rest periods or maybe 1 minute max. No, it doesn't work that way. The ratio of your rest should be minimum of 1-to-3 ratio and like maximum 1-to-5, 1-to-6, which means like, let's say your set takes, as I said before in the TUT, 40 seconds, which should take. That means the rest of your set until you go the next one should be 3 times more, up to 5 times, maybe sometimes 6, depending on the exercise and how much effort you put in. That means like, let's say 40 seconds, that means 2-minute rest minimum, let's say for a 40-second set, like on barbell curls maybe. So yeah, 1-to-3 and 1-to-5 ratios is the best for you to go. I go up in the higher ending, like the 1-to-5, sometimes I said 1-to-6 as well. I like to rest more so I can put the most amount of effort in the next set. And because our body, when you do like maximal effort work, it uses ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is the main fuel of the body, let's say, for maximal effort, and some other ways as well, like glycolysis. But with the ATP, it's so important for you to wait until it gets pretty much recreated, restored maybe, which takes about 3 minutes, depending on the exercise. It can take more, it can take less, but average 3 minutes. Tip number 5, train to freaking failure. This means that if you want to use the term RPE, that means an RPE of 10, which means maximal effort. Maybe an RP of 9 at worst. Let's say that you leave in 1 rep in the tank, and sometimes even less, like half rep. You can even go beyond failure. That's still good. Like do, after you finish your set, do some partial reps. Let's say I do curls. I'm always using curls because I'm a fucking bro as well. But okay, let's say you're using curls. You just do full reps, 10 reps, 12 reps. And then you bang out some halves, and that's beyond failure. To me, failure should be to be able to do a certain amount of reps, but with correct form. Like as soon as the form breaks, that's when you hit failure. Like, okay, let's say I'm doing squats. If I put all my lower back in like the 11th rep, because I did 10 perfect reps and then 11th, I'm just trying to get the weight up, it's not as good, and I think you've already reached muscle failure. That's why other muscles like your erectors and your lower back trying to interfere and help your quads, let's say, and your glutes lift the bar. Okay, so my tip number 6 is to your training frequency and your sets. So optimally, you should want to train each muscle group 2 times a week. If you can't, it's not necessarily bad, but that's the optimal. Like even I don't train everything 2 times a week. I mostly like focus on muscles that I want to bring up more 2 times a week, and maybe some others get 1 time a week. But if I could, back in the day, I did the push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, but it was too much volume for me, and I couldn't really handle it that good, and I was tired all the time. That's why right now I'm training some muscles once per week. So for you though, optimally would be like 2 times a week if you train hard enough. You can still train even 3 times, but I don't feel that's necessary. And your sets, science says that anywhere from 10 to 20 sets per week for each muscle group is fine. That's where you will grow. Then intensity comes in to play, because if your intensity is too high, you train every set to failure like you should, I don't think you'll be able to handle, let's say, 20 sets every week and go in the higher end of the spectrum. So me personally, because I train hard, I get my sets lower and I train harder. So let's say 10 to 20 sets, I will do like 10 to 12 around there. I cannot handle 20 for a muscle group because of the intensity of the workout. So it's up to you what you're gonna decide, but aim around there from 10 to 20 sets. But you should increase volume as time goes by. Okay, so my tip number 7, and it should be the tip number 1, especially when coming to training in every single sport, not only bodybuilding, it is progressive overload. Put that right into your minds, people. It's the most important thing when it comes to training, which means to actually increase something like the volume every week, just by a little bit. Maybe more, maybe less, but you need to put some more effort into your workout every single week. That means that you can either, first of all, increase the weight. So let's say I'm doing bench press like 100 kg. I might put the next week 101 and get the exact same reps, which is still progress. It is progressive overload. I maybe increase the reps. Let's say I did 10 reps this week. The next week I'm going to do 11. That's still an increase, a smaller one. Even adding more sets. Let's say I did 3 sets and I could handle them the previous week. The next week I'm going to do 4, let's say. You can even also rest less. That's still progressive overload, but I don't recommend it that much. I prefer the other 3 ways, like adding weight, adding an extra rep, maybe an extra set. Yeah, and mostly weight. Just try to lift as heavy as possible, but without injuring yourself. Like, get your form right first, and then start to increase the weight slowly. Because even that 1 kg will make the difference in the long run. Now we're going into nutrition. Tip number 8 is to be on a calorie surplus. Calorie surplus means to actually eat more than you burn, than how many calories you burn. That means, let's say my maintenance, my BMR, my basal metabolic rate is, I don't know, like 2,000 calories without exercising, let's say. I would say RMR, resting metabolic rate, which is more correct. So let's say it's 2,000 calories, and with the exercise and walking and all this, it gets like to 2,500 calories. If I want to gain weight and muscle, I should be in a surplus. So I might eat from 2,600 to like 2,800. I do believe the surplus mustn't be big. And I'm saying that to myself as well, because I always get fat in the off season, because I'm a little bitch. But you should not get fat necessarily in the off season. I believe like a surplus from 100 to 300 calories is the best way to go. 300 max. The ones that go 500 surplus a day, That's a lot, and you will get fat so quick. So keep that in mind. 100 from 300 calorie surplus. That's when you put your body in a prime position to gain muscle. Because in a deficit or in maintenance, you can still do it, but it's going to be much more difficult. So if you want to have a successful off-season and actually see some difference when you cut again, maybe for a contest prep, maybe just for summer in the beach, and you want to see some actual difference, calorie surplus is the most optimal way. It's not the only way, but it is the most optimal way. Tip number 9 is eat your protein. That goes from, let's say, the best amount of protein that you can eat, and that's the max you should eat if you want to be at the top of, let's say, your potential. It is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So let's say I'm around 80 kg, which in pounds I think it's like 175, around there. So I should eat maximum 175 grams of protein a day in order to grow optimally and recover optimally. But you can, especially if you're a beginner, you can get away with way less than that, like I don't know, like 0.8 grams, 0.7, 0.6 even grams per pound of body weight. You can still do it. And especially like for a healthy human being who doesn't want to eat too much protein, I recommend like around the 0.8 mark, which you will still see probably the same amount of gains. But we bodybuilders think like for the perfection and the maximum amount of results, which is like a 0.1% difference. But it doesn't apply to the real world, does it? Okay, tip number 10 it's in the recovery aspect, is get enough sleep. Kids, get enough sleep. Every day you should sleep, like, for me it's not even 6. I cannot function well with 6 hours. I believe 7 to 9. So the sweet spot would be 8, like in the middle, is the best for optimal recovery. And because we are athletes as well, because, okay, let's say I'm a human being that doesn't work out at all, I can even get away with 6 hours probably, because I don't burn my muscles in a workout. Like, I don't break muscle fibers down in order for them to rebuild again. But if I break muscle fibers down, which is what you do every time you work out, you need, I believe, 7 minimum to 9, I would say, hours of sleep, which is pretty optimal for every human being, even if you don't work out at all. And the bonus tip, I guess, tip 11, it's pretty much like the previous one, the tip number 10 of sleep. It's that recovery is as important, if not more important, than the actual training. So let's say, and by recovery I don't mean only sleep, I mean everything, from nutrition, from your sleep, your supplements, everything. You go in the gym every day and you break down muscle fibers. How they're gonna get stronger depends on you, on what you do afterwards. The gym only takes like 1 to 2 hours of your day. The rest, 22 hours, is when you actually grow, like by eating enough protein, getting your meals in, getting like 5 meals, 4 to 5 meals with adequate amount of protein inside, sleeping enough. So yeah, the training is not the least important, it's the most important. Like, you should train to failure hard. It's very important for you to grow, but the 22 hours of the day, that's when you really grow. In the training, you just break your muscles down. That in the rest of the day, that's where they rebuild themselves. So get your recovery sorted, guys. It's very, very, very important. So this was the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. I hope we get back to the camera soon because I don't like the quality that I'm seeing here. Show me some love. I know it's not the best, but I'll try my best to get back to the camera as soon as I can. Yeah, again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.